Hi everyone. In this episode, I'm going to take my very first attempt at making some cowboy candy from some fresh jalapenos that I got from my very own garden. I've never actually made cowboy candy. I've never actually tasted cowboy candy. So follow me along this journey as we talk about all the things we need to do to make some cowboy candy. And if you're asking what in the world is cowboy candy? Well, apparently it's a sweet treat made from jalapenos, but it has a tad bit of kick in it. And if anybody knows anything about me, I don't really eat spicy food, but I am willing to try some cowboy candy because one of my weaknesses is sweet treats. So stick along and let's get going with making some cowboy candy straight from some jalapenos out of my very own garden. All right, let's get going. So when we're making cowboy candy, I actually researched a few different recipes online, and all of them have pretty much the same core ingredients. But what we're going to do today is we're going to slice up about 8 to 12 jalapenos. Some recipes allow you to put some very thinly sliced garlic, which we'll slice. Um, because I'm not making a lot, I have some white granulated sugar. All recipes have called for turmeric. I have some apple cider vinegar here that we're going to pour in. Celery seed, not all recipes call for it. Yellow mustard seeds, and some kosher salt. And I think the kosher salt is really to help it sustain in the fridge for a while. So cowboy candy can last up to three to 4 months in the fridge, it says. It varies, I guess, based on how much you use it. And what I did was I got these very small bottles to put it in. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to fill one or two. But what we're going to do first is simply slice up these jalapenos into fairly thick. So I guess a 1/4 inch slices of these jalapenos. But while we're slicing the jalapenos, let's start getting some of the other things ready. So I figure while I'm slicing the jalapenos, we'll go ahead and get the syrup ready. And in that, we just have to pour down the vinegar, sugar, and all the spices in this very small saucepan here and let it come to some type of syrup. Then after that, we'll take the slices of the jalapeno and garlic that we slice up and put it in the pot and let it simmer for a while. All right, so let's get going with the chopping of the jalapeno and getting the syrup going so that we can get this going. I'm kind of excited because I'm very curious as to what it's going to taste like.
First up, I'm going to make the syrup that goes with the cowboy candy. I'm pouring the sugar, the vinegar, all the spices, and turning on the heat and mixing it in. I want to make sure that it's done evenly, but while that's starting, I'm going to go ahead and start chopping up the garlic and maybe bits and pieces of the cowboy candy. The reason why I'm adding garlic to mine is because I actually love the taste of garlic. In addition to that, I just want to make sure I'm paying very close attention to the heat so that I can know when I need to stir, as well as I'm going ahead and going to start cutting the jalapenos. And although the slices look thick, they're supposed to be a certain size. So let's see what happens here.
So if we see here, we're cutting the jalapenos. I'm leaving the seeds in for the most part, but I'm cutting them fairly thick. They're supposed to have a little crunch to it. These are nice and fresh. And I thinly sliced the garlic up, as you can see, very thin. And I'm trying to be as consistent as I can be with the jalapenos. So you see some are thicker than others. But what we're hoping for is when we bite into it, we get a bit of a crunch. And all while slicing, we're also making sure that the vinegar, sugar, spices come to melt all the way down so that it can give us a nice little syrup to put the jalapenos in.
Consistency is key when making cowboy candy. Cut your jalapenos into 1/4 inch slices. This uniform size ensures even cooking and proper sugar absorption. Too thick and they won't soften right. Too thin and they'll turn mushy. So what exactly is cowboy candy? It's candied jalapeno, sweet, spicy, pickled peppers that originated in America's South. They're packed with vitamin C and capsaicin, which boost metabolism. The sweet syrup balances the heat perfectly, making it addictive for everything from cream cheese to burgers, and they'll last up to a year in your pantry when candied properly.
All right, now we're finishing up with the last of the peppers. I'm using about 10 because I think I had 12 total. So as I finish slicing this last pepper, and I already pre-washed them and put them in this little bowl here. I'm looking at the solution here and it looks like it's almost ready, meaning the crystals and the sugar have completely dissolved. It's getting there, along with the turmeric, the mustard seeds, and it's, if I show you here, completely pouring down into a liquid. So now I'm not sure, like I said, this is my first time, so I'm not sure there's enough liquid in here, but it's telling me that I'm gonna put the jalapenos in here. It's completely, looks like it's already, all the crystals are done. And what I'm gonna do is, because I'm gonna shake the jalapenos as I put them down because I don't want all the seeds in mine. And I'm just gonna put them in there and let them simmer. Smells pretty good. Let them simmer down. I think I have enough to maybe do a second batch. Maybe. Because I also have to take the syrup from it and pour it down at the end. But I'm pretty sure that the peppers will soften up a little. Maybe I could put them all in here. Yeah, I think I could put them all in. The peppers are going to naturally soften up. So I'm going to let this simmer. I left a lot of the seeds in the bowl here. Get the spoon and mix it all in. I'll show you in a second. It's all mixed in. You can see from the camera here. I'm just going to let it simmer it down. The turmeric is going to give it a bit of flavor, but the turmeric is also going to turn the jalapenos a tint of an orangey looking color. So let's talk through this. What should it taste like? It should be spicy, well, spicy for me. So it should have some spice with the amount of sugar I put in here, a lot of sweetness. So again, you have mustard seeds, ground turmeric, celery seeds, jalapenos, sugar, garlic, and I've used apple cider vinegar. So let's give it a minute. Let this all simmer down. The recipe says for about 15 minutes. So let me let it simmer on low. I'll get a cover for this and let's see what happens. Now we're going to simply just check on the jalapenos to make sure that they are softening up. So clearly there was more than enough liquid. And it smells really good. Lots of seeds in there too. Okay, so we're back. The jalapenos have now come to a rapid boil. Oh man, that smells very spicy. And what the recipe says is for me to spoon out the jalapenos here. I don't know if you could see from the camera, but spoon them out. And I'm going to let the liquid solution stay in the pot, come to a deeper boil down until it's very syrupy, and I'm going to pour them over the jalapenos. So what I want to do now is see how much this recipe will make, to see if I can pour it in 2 jars, if I need to leave it in 1. Oh, definitely smells kind of spicy. It smells kind of tangy too, but full disclosure, I stuck my spoon down in a little bit earlier and I pretty much tried to taste to see what it would taste like. So I do know that it's fairly spicy here. Maybe a little bit more spicy than what I give myself credit for. Do I have enough? I think I might only have enough for this 1 jar, which is fine. So spoon everything out. Oh, drop one. Another one bites the dust. Put it in here. I probably could have split it in. I might actually come back and split it into 2 jars, but this can be refrigerated because I'm not going to can these. Like I said, these are going to be a snack. I'm not going to try to save them, but I'm going to push them down very tight. The jalapenos are hot, so the jar is getting hot here. Smells very spicy. And what it says to, to do, excuse me, is to continue. I think I got them all out. Yep. So I'm going to let this solution boil down a little bit more. Then it says to carefully spoon the syrup over the jalapenos. So this is roughly, I think, about 1 cup inside this jar here. The jar is kind of warm. So I'm going to make sure I clean off all the spiciness around the jar here. And we're almost there. Gonna let this boil down into our syrup. Then the syrup is gonna go in and cover the jalapenos here. They say that you should let it sit for about a couple days and then they're ready for eating. I'll try one at the very end. I'm gonna have to have something to calm the heat down, but for now, let's just let the syrup boil down and then we'll top it off and then we'll have our good thing of cowboy candy. So a lot of people, they use these as snacks. Some people put them on sandwiches. Some people even put them on pizza. So I guess it really depends on your pleasure and what you want to eat the cowboy candy for. Like I said, I smelled it. Smells kind of spicy, so I'm hoping that I like it. And see who else I can get to try it in the house. But yeah, my first try, satisfied so far. This looks like it's boiling pretty good. And let's give it about 5 minutes. Let the solution boil down because it's very watery at this point. But like I said, all this is just spices, sugar, vinegar, and the remnants from the jalapeno peppers. So let's check back so that we can finish up these peppers and put this jar in the fridge for later snacking. Okay, we have let the syrup boil down to where it says syrup. The recipe said that the jalapenos should look very shiny as if they are candied. And now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to pour the syrup in here. I'm going to spoon it in because honestly at this point, now that I'm thinking about it, I want to avoid too many seeds from getting in here. So I'm going to completely spoon it out, get some of the mustard seeds in, but avoid the jalapeno seeds because like I said, I don't do spicy that well. I'm going to probably go down in here. So there are a lot of the mustard seeds toward the bottom. But let's just spoon the syrup in here, let it cool down, and in about an hour or so after it's completely cool, we're going to come in and give it a little taste test and say what we would use it for. And like I said, I just wanted a snack here. And here we go. It looks like it's very tasty. So I almost want to try one now, but they say you should try it when it's completely cooled down because then it has like the candied effect to it. And then you just refrigerate it. So like I don't know if I said this before, but this can last in the refrigerator for 3 to 4 months. And it's great for snacking, putting on pizzas and sandwiches and all the things that you may like spicy jalapeno stuff on. And some people may even think that jalapenos aren't spicy, but for me, they're very spicy. So I'm getting to the point where when I mush them down, they're covered in solution. So maybe one more spoonful, excuse me, and that will be that. Completely submerge it. And then what I also read was the solution. Some people save the solution, I'm not, but some people save the syrup from this and they use it as like a topping or garnish or whatever. So like let's say you like spicy chicken, you can simply just save this solution here and put it on just different meats and different things that you may cook in the kitchen. I'll put this over to the side. But for now, I'm going to completely cover it. I probably should have wiped the top. And now we have a bottle of a jar of Cowboy candy here, and looks pretty good. It has a very orangey tint due to the turmeric, but I can't wait to try it. So let's let it cool, and I'll come back and we'll give it a try and see what happens. Right. All right. So we have let the cowboy candy cool down. It's now time for me to actually give it a try. And then after I give it a try, I'll toss it in the refrigerator, let it candy some more. But I am honestly a little anxious and I can't wait to see what this is actually going to taste like. So hopefully I like it, because if I don't, it'll be a gift for someone who I know likes spicy stuff. So I'm just going to take one of the rings out here. I'm a little afraid because it does have seeds still in it. So I'm going to give it a try. One slice of cowboy candy coming right up. Has a nice crunch. Mmm. But you guys, for me, very, very spicy. So maybe with some time in the fridge, it'll candy some more. Ooh, that actually hit the back of my neck. And I'll keep it because I like it. And I will be doing this again. So my first time ever making cowboy candy with jalapeños and candying them down. Like I said, I'm very partial to sweet stuff. I hope you enjoyed following me along, even with the taste test included. If you want to see me make more things, woo, more things from the garden, please make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell icon so that you can see everything that I might possibly record or make with actual things from the garden. Everyone knows that I'm a pepper girl, so the more things that I make with my peppers, the more you understand why I grow them. So again, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, all the things, and please write any comments in the comment section and let me know what you think. Have you ever tried any cowboy candy and anything like that? So until next time, from garden to creation, happy creating everybody. Have a nice day.